On Fraser Coast FM, it's Tracy and the Big D, and as our first program right here in the Hervey Bay region, I thought it'd be fantastic to catch up with a local Rob Mackay, of course from Pacific International Music, and Rob does a lot of recording, but lately he's recorded one of the Fraser Coast's own Sam Madison. I thought we'd catch up about that. Rob, thanks for joining us here on our very first night on Fraser Coast FM.
My pleasure, and thank you very much for having me on board, and congratulations on getting into our area.
It's great to be back. Rob, over the next maybe the 12 months, we'd love to be able to catch up with you because we hear a lot from artists. They go into recording studios and they record their songs, but we'd like to find a little bit about the actual recording process. Like, we're going to feature one of Sam Madison's songs tonight, but what is it like when an artist like Sam walks into the studio and says, "G'day Rob, I've got 20 songs here, I'd like to put an album out." What is the first process that you go through?
The general process is to sit down and have a listen to the songs, but also have a long chat, probably spend an equal amount of time just talking about who the artist is, what they want to achieve, and just try and make sure that we're on the same page as far as their music, who they are and what they're doing. I think that's critically important. So once we've got our head around that, then the rest of the process gets really so easy. It's just really communication up front. Then we would sit down and have a listen to all the songs. Usually I just get her to sit in the studio, put a couple of mics in the right places and just get them to walk through all the material. So I've got a sketch version of each song. And then we go through the harrowing process of killing off some of the songs for the new album, get it down to 10 or 12 songs or whatever's selected, which is a bit of a brutal process for old songwriters. Their songs are like their children, and you've got to put the axe through a few of them.
Tell us about that process of doing that humanely and let them know that this song's not going to feature with what they've been able to do. What's the best way of doing that?
Well, as a producer, the job probably is about standing outside far enough from the artist, I guess, to be able to have a helicopter view of who they are and what they're doing and select the best songs. Often songwriters are in love with the last song they've written, which may not be their best, and maybe their best song is one they're sick of playing so they don't like it anymore. More often than not, you'll find an older song in amongst stuff that they're perhaps not so much in love with anymore, but you go, well, crikey, that is your best song, so it has to go on the album. It's a bit of a tough process, but at the end of the day, you want to try and put out the best record possible for the artist, and that's the process. Just go through each one and just work out what you think the best song is, because it's really, as you guys know, it's all about the song. If you've got a cracker song, the process gets a lot easier from there for the artist.
Well, we've got Sam Madison's album in front of us right now, and it's called Emery's Crossing, and there's 12 tracks on this album. We're going to feature the title track, Emery's Crossing. Tell us a little bit when you first heard that, and did you know instantly that Emery's Crossing was going to be on that album, come what may?
Absolutely. That was a standout song, same as Canada off that album as well. Just a strikingly really good songs. The problem with Sam Madison, I might add, is the first song I ever heard from Sam was on her first EP. I just said, "You got a problem," after I heard her first song she'd ever written. I said, "That is, how are you going to get above that?" It was such a spectacular song. But Sam just keeps churning out magnificent songs, and she's one of the jewels in our crown of this region, in my view, good enough to be an international artist. She just writes so beautifully and honestly. She performs beautifully and honestly as well. And Emery's Crossing, it's great for Fraser Coast. It's about a local place. It's lovely to hear a song that's written about our region or a place in our region and not some faraway place that are sung about by overseas artists. So well done for Sam for doing that, and it's a standout song.
We couldn't think of a better way of kicking off our association here with the Fraser Coast than catching up with yourself, Rob Mackay, talking Sam Madison, talking about her music and, of course, the new album, which is Emery's Crossing. Rob Mackay will be a regular guest here, Pacific International Music, located right here in Hervey Bay. So it's fantastic to be able to catch up with him and share some of those stories. And we look forward to talking about your new venture, which is happening with the Bobcats, and we'll do that next time we catch up, Rob.
Beautiful. Lovely to talk to you both.
This is Sam Madison and Emery's Crossing.
Now will you ever think of me, waiting for you